The James Show Podcast.
Don't get too excited yet. I want you to remember what I'm about to say in this segment. And in fact, what I'm about to say in the next 2 minutes. Because I am marking this down. I am going to go back. I'm going to cut out this audio. Probably cut out the video too. And I hope to God you never hear me have to play this again. But I don't think I'm wrong. We just caught the guy. I say we. Law enforcement just tracked down the last guy that was involved in the shooting of the Alvarado ICE Detention Center on July 4th. This is going to keep escalating, y'all. This is not going to stop. I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you in the future that an ICE agent has been murdered. And then we might do something about it. But if you've been listening to the show, if you're new to this show, you're going to have to trust me on this. But I know the all-day listeners out there for WBAP remember back when the Delaney Hall ICE detention facility was visited by the 3 congressmen and the mayor of Newark. And the guards wouldn't immediately let them in, with no schedule, no request, no advance notice. They just showed up and they're like, we demand to go in here. We're congressmen. We can do whatever we want. We have constitutional oversight over. And then they tried to push their way into the facility. You saw Representative LaMonica McIver lower her arm, dip down her shoulder and try and push past the security guard. He stopped her. She grabbed his arm and tried and pulled him out of the way. I said then on this show to you that the hammer needs to come down on this and come down on this immediately or it's going to escalate. Well, it escalated. It escalated right after that when there were the raids that happened in California and you saw them throwing bricks at ICE vehicles. Now, listen, if a guy has a window open, he dies. You understand that? That's an attempted murder. Now, it's not as an obvious, overt attempted murder as actually shooting at them, but it kept escalating to now they are shooting at ICE officers. An Alvarado policeman got shot in the neck. Thank God. The guns are scary crowd are so bad at guns. They fired off 30 rounds and all they got was a graze wound. I mean, that's pretty optimistic that these are going to be our Civil War opponents, but that doesn't make me feel any better about the situation with anti-ICE violence. It's just escalating. And unless I just see something that I don't expect, do we have the political will for the hammer to just drop on these guys? Because it should have dropped on McIver, and that would have stopped it then. But it didn't, did they? She never got arrested. They talked about putting charges on her. It was kind of a story for a while, but she never got the bracelets. She never got drawn before a grand jury and got indicted. We could have stopped it there, but we didn't. And I'm not saying we should have listened to me, but we should have listened to me because now here we are. For everyone that has been a part of any sort of physical attack, I don't want to say attack, how about interference on any of these ICE raids, they should have all been treated worse than January 6ers. Or I don't know if you can treat them worse. How about somewhat as bad as January 6ers? And that might have stopped it, but they didn't. And so then it escalates from the original congressmen trying to push and bully their way in and just, using hands to then throwing blunt objects. Now we've gone all the way up to shootings. If it doesn't stop here, if we don't drop the hammer on these people and let the world know that we are serious about protecting our ICE agents and our policemen, whose only crime is enforcing the law that's been ignored for most of your life, ICE officers are going to die. I do not delight in telling you that. I am not saying this to be sensational so you won't turn the channel. In fact, I don't want to tell you this. I want to have fun. I want to tell jokes. I want this to be like just a lighthearted little Wednesday where I can play you some funny sound bites of, I don't know, someone who got their foot stuck in a pothole or, I don't know, something fun. This is not fun for me. I do not enjoy this. I do not delight in this. But I've seen this too many times. This is going to escalate until someone dies. 800-288-9227. Anyone want to argue with that? Because we have the guy, the Benjamin Soon guy, who was caught last night about 5:15. The news broke about 6 o'clock, but there's a reporter that I follow on Twitter from the Dallas Express, and he was listening to the police scanner, and he said about 5:15, hey, I think they got the guy. So he's been caught. Now, why do I think that it's going to continue to escalate? Because of the velvet glove garbage in the media about this guy. Let me give you a couple of examples. Number one, the local newspaper here, in the headline of where the guy got arrested. This is the headline.
FBI arrests Dallas man on the run after attack on North Texas ICE facility.
Dallas man? Dallas man? All right. Well, the Dallas Express reported that he was a member of the Elm Fork chapter of the John Brown Gun Club. Do you know what the John Brown Gun Club is? They are a self-described Antifa militant group. They have combat training videos that Benjamin's song was featured in. Yeah, he's an Antifa militant, a violent Antifa terror attack. Or I guess terrorist would. It sounds like hyperbole. It doesn't feel, I don't feel comfortable saying this, but it's right. I know I'm right. In the article from the Dallas Morning News, did they mention that he's an Antifa? Did they mention that he's in the Elm Fork chapter of the John Brown Gun Club or any gun club? Hell, they probably would report him as a Second Amendment enthusiast. But if he doesn't even get identified for being a politically motivated attempted murderer, hell, if you had better aim, he would be a murderer. He would be a cop killer. And you're handling a wannabe cop killer with kid gloves. And when I say wannabe cop killer, I'm not talking about Ice-T. I'm not talking about NWA. I'm talking about a guy that went 25 miles south of Fort Worth and actually shot a cop in the neck. And you're handling this guy with kid gloves. Shame. So much shame. Whoever wrote that article, shame on you. You know what else isn't in there? The fact that he was, I don't know, a Democrat, or the fact that he was part of a leftist group or a far left group. Because, you know, they always say like far right winger. Or they left all politics out of the article. How do you do that when his entire motive was 100% political? ICE agents, cops, y'all are really, I feel sorry for you. My heart goes out to you. I don't know how you keep doing your jobs. I don't know. Y'all should be furious. Wait until I play you, coming up in the next segment, you're going to hear Ana Navarro on CNN giving another example of why I think, and I don't know, please, somebody disagree with me and talk me off of this ledge, that until we drop the hammer on these guys, expect the violence against ICE to escalate, because that's all it's done so far. It started with those goober congressmen trying to break into Delaney Hall, the ICE detention facility in New Jersey. They got the kid glove treatment, no real consequences, and that just emboldened the ICE attacks even further. How do you tell someone not to attack ICE when congressmen can get away with it? How do you tell someone that attacking ICE is bad when they could turn on the TV and they see dozens, if not hundreds, of our neighbors throwing bricks at moving vehicles and all the other attacks that you've seen? And what about when people are kind of on the fence here? I don't know if I should get involved or I should be one of these guys. I'm thinking about it too. And then the guy that did it's treated pretty much like a hero. You don't call him out. You don't call his ideology ugly. You don't rebuke the motivation which drove him to attempted murder of a policeman right in front of your face. It makes my blood boil to turn on the TV and, you know, just trying to keep up with what's going on. And the news acts like ICE agents aren't getting shot at. The news acts like ICE agents aren't getting bricks thrown at them. The news acts like there's not like there's an ICE Block app that is thwarting ICE's raids. There was one that happened at ICE Block. The app warned some locals here of an ICE raid that was happening at a Home Depot here in Dallas. That's got to be illegal. But let me just give you a taste of what I'm talking about here. This is Ana Navarro. Now, some people are pulling this audio and playing it because of the racial angle, and there is some just eye-rolling racial angle on this, where Ana Navarro, who's normally trying to call herself a conservative, I think she finally dropped that. Listen to this last night.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No,
Reign of
it
terror.
might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly
So
not hyperbolic for me as a
racist.
Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white
No,
man.
I'm not
is
dismissing
racist.
your opinion. I am
Yes,
telling
you
you
are.
that the Latino community, the brown
lot of them
community
disagree with you.
in
You do not
America.
speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic.
you
Let me
insulted me
respond.
racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it to dismiss my
Being a
opinion,
white man
yes.
as an insult?
When you invoke it,
Do you
argument.
think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to make a point that
Yeah, stop. So her point is that it's scary. Latinos should be scared of ICE agents. They're living under a reign of terror. Oh, I'm sorry. Are ICE agents throwing bricks at you? Is that what they're doing to the Latino community? Is that what they're doing? Or are they just enforcing the law? I'm sorry, are ICE agents shooting you in the neck in the Latino community? Has anyone been shot in the neck by an ICE agent? Have there been? Have there been any ambushes where ICE agents just pop out of the woods and start squeezing off 30 rounds into a crowd of Latinos? No, that's so far from the truth. It's 180 degrees backwards. This fits perfectly the whole Evan Sayet unified field theory on liberalism. No, I'll tell you who's living in a reign of fear, a reign of terror. ICE agents are. That's why they have to cover their face, because y'all won't stop shooting at them. How do you say that when just last week we had 2 different ICE facilities shot up by people like you, by people on your side, Ana Navarro, by the activists on your side, by anti-activist militants, terrorists. We should call them what they are. It's one thing when you go out and you protest and you block a road, and I know that's annoying, but it's not, it's not terrorism. But when you're squeezing off rounds, 30 rounds, hitting a guy in the neck, it's not like you're shooting it in the air for fun because it's 4th of July. No, you were trying to murder ICE agents. They are living in the reign of terror. They're the ones that have to worry about being doxxed. They're the ones that have to worry about retribution to themselves and their family. Reign of terror, my butt. That is so insulting. And it's just hard for even CNN, like that, man, you guys are really pushing it. Really, really pushing it to say Latinos live in fear. All Latinos live in fear? Not the legal ones. What are you talking about? Marco Rubio's the Latino. You think he's living in fear? Right? He's fluent in Spanish. He's Cuban American. He grew up speaking Spanish in the house. He qualifies every bit as a Latino. Is he living in fear? What about you, Ana Navarro? Are you living in fear? If you say you are, you're lying, making millions of dollars slandering this country constantly. No, all Latinos aren't living in fear. I'll tell you, some that might be living in fear are the ones that are here illegally, and that's not unjust for them to be living in fear. You're breaking the law. The only thing you're living in fear of is for the law to be enforced, and that's nowhere unjust. But it's just not even true. Well, Latinos have to live in fear. No, they don't. That's ridiculous. How do I know? I'm related to a bunch of Latinos. So's Miss Parker. We both have Latinos up and down our family trees. Both of us. Hi, Miss Parker. None of them are worried about it. Why? Because we're all legal. I mean, we are now. Maybe not 100 years ago. But I find this I'm not offended. I just find this line of rhetoric dangerous. It's not just wrong. It's dangerous because you're inflaming people like Benjamin Song, who are a member of the John Brown Gun Club, Antifa militants. You're whipping up these psychos into violence. And it's not like they were going to be violent anyway. When Barack Obama deported over 5 million people, Benjamin Song never picked up a rifle and shot at cops. There weren't dozens, if not hundreds, of people in Los Angeles and whatnot that were throwing bricks at cops. There weren't congressmen trying to break into ICE facilities. Debbie Wasserman Schultz wasn't going, oh my goodness, they have to use the toilet and drink water out of the same the little furniture here. Oh, look at the conditions. Look at the poor sandwiches they have to eat. They're in cages, y'all. This hyperbolic rhetoric, and it is hyperbolic, and it doesn't matter if you're white or Latino or black or if you're purple polka dot. It is hyperbolic to say you're living under a reign of terror, Ana Navarro. And it's hyperbole like that is going to get somebody killed. And if we don't drop the hammer immediately on both McIver, the congressman from the New Jersey ICE detention facility, bum rush, all these guys throwing bricks, and especially these dudes shooting up the ICE agents, we have to drop the hammer on them hard, or you're sending a message to the other crazy people that it's open season on ICE agents. And I do not want to live in that world. I don't think ICE agents deserve to live in that world. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Coming up on the James Show, we'll continue with this thought process because the real question is, who do you think's more dangerous out there? ICE agents or ICE protesters? And it's a wild story. This guy went out there. He has some military training. He was a Marine Corps reservist. He had also spent some time in the John Brown Gun Club, which is an Antifa militant group where they train people on how to use guns and how to pull off attacks. And okay, so we have a guy who's now part of, look, and I'm not saying this for hyperbole. I don't want you to think I'm the guy is saying crazy things on the radio just to get ratings. He is part of now, obviously, a terrorist group. They're not training on the Constitution. They're not training on, how to sue somebody. They're not training on how to feed the poor. They're training on lethal military-style attacks. They're training with weapons. They're coming up with a group of 12 people in a cell. This is a terror cell that were trying to take out law enforcement officers based on a political ideology. They are a terror group. Doesn't even get mentioned in the article. This is going to continue to escalate until we start calling balls and strikes and then putting these people 5 feet under the jail. And I don't mean killing them. I just mean putting them in the basement. But the media is full of garbage human beings who support the deadliest and most immoral ideologies in human history. Anna Navarro on CNN, and no one countered her except for the one token conservative guest there. Oh, we all live in a reign of terror. No, you are the reign of terror. Anti-ICE protesters are the reign of terror. Anti-ICE protesters are the dangerous ones. Has ICE shot anybody? Because if the answer is no, and it is, then it's obvious who's more dangerous. And it's not even a subjective opinion. ICE protesters are. I just can't believe these people. Because, like, if he was in the NRA, don't you think that would be mentioned? Hell, it'd probably be mentioned in the headline. But no, he's just called a Dallas man in the headline in the local papers. Not all of them. The Dallas Express, obviously, has a brain on their shoulders and isn't just completely mentally incapacitated by Trump derangement syndrome. But he's a 32-year-old guy who has trained with weapons and trains other people with weapons. He shows up in one of their training videos, and you're going soft on this guy? On top of this, they have apps that are seeking to thwart ICE agents in their raids, alerting people of their presence. What if we had a app that warned people of your presence, ICE protesters, so we could go chunk bricks at you? Would you think they were the good guys? Because that's what you're doing. 800-288-9227. Jason McKinney, you're on WBAP. Go.
Hey, I'm just real glad that they got that guy, the last shooter or whatever. So that's good news. Get that guy off the streets. Huge supporter of ICE. The most important job they have every day is obviously going home to their families safe. So definitely support them, all law enforcement. But sorry to burst your bubble there, James. These ICE apps, ICE Block or whatever, perfectly legal. They are protected by the First Amendment. So no, it sucks. You might not agree with it. But free speech, First Amendment. I have a police scanner. That's perfectly fine.
Well, let me tell you the difference then. Let me tell you the difference. Because, look, if you do want to know about ICE raids, listen to the police scanner like a lot of other people do, like a lot of reporters do. We have them in newsrooms everywhere that I've worked. The difference is the intent of this app is for people to disrupt law enforcement activities. And I'm a free speech guy, and on the surface, if it was just a little old alert system that, hey, we're just letting you know when we see things. Like, it'd be like the Waze app, hey, I see a cop on the side of the road, and I don't know if he has a radar gun or not or whatever, but I'm just marking that down. Now the Waze app isn't there to simply have people escape justice from law enforcement. There's, it warns of traffic. Here's the next place you can eat or go to the bathroom. The intent of the app isn't to thwart law enforcement. The intent of the ICE Block app is to thwart law enforcement. And so when you're using your free speech to interrupt a police action, I'm not a lawyer, but that sounds like it could be something that isn't just protected by the First Amendment. Now you're interfering with a law enforcement activity. You're putting cops in danger, and you're doing it on purpose with the intent of disrupting their activities.
Okay. Well, you don't have to be a lawyer to figure out that there's nothing illegal about it. And that's exactly what these ICE Block apps or whatever they are. They're reporting activity. Now, if that said person goes to that activity and starts engaging in illegal activity like obstructing an investigation, obviously I want them arrested, and they should be, and they will be.
Well, let me try this. Before you go to your next point. Okay, so there was the judge that got in trouble somewhere in Chicago, I think it was, because when the ICE agents came to her courtroom, she had an illegal immigrant in there, and she didn't want him to get arrested. So she said, hey, come with me. You can go out the back door, and you can escape arrest this way. So was she just using her free speech and saying whatever's constitutionally protected? And if it just so happened to help a guy escape justice, then whatever? Or isn't that similar to what the Ice Block app does? You're using your speech. You can use your speech to do illegal things. And in this one, I think it kind of sounds like that. You know, she just used words. She has free speech.
Well, James. 99.5 times out of 100, I'm probably going to agree with you. I've been listening to your show for about a minute here. You're reaching on this one, bud. You know,
well, what's the difference between the judge telling the illegal immigrant how to escape capture from the ICE agents that were in the hallway versus what the Ice Block app not only does, intends to do? There's an intent there.
Yeah. No, I get it, and it's hard to prove intent on this. You really can't. But to go back to your point, that judge is physically opening a door, for that said person.
No, you don't know that. She could have just pointed at the door and used her words. And it's not like he's incapable of opening the door.
She's obstructing justice. So she's abiding and abating by that person to escape the building or whatever. So what the app is basically, and what are you going to do? Are you going to prosecute and put in jail the web developers, for doing this? So what they're doing is basically reporting a hotspot. Okay. Now, as long as they're truthfully doing it to the best of their knowledge, they're putting out hotspots. If somebody wants to go there or stay away from there, that's their prerogative. But that's free speech. You can't go around and prison every person that wants to report the news. And as long as somebody's doing it lawfully, sorry, bud, there's going to be a time to where the other side is going to want to do the same thing, and we're going to get upset about it. So I don't like to set these silly precedents like this, because, my friend, the shoe's going to be on the foot soon enough, and it's going to be some Democrat someplace that's going to do something silly like this and butt up against free speech, and we're going to have a fit about it.
Well, I like the part about 99.5 times out of 100 you agree with me, but you didn't convince me on how this is any different than what that judge did in Illinois to help the illegal immigrant escape. I mean, turning a doorknob is the only difference. I don't know. And I'm not 100% on this position anyway. I'm not 100% that this is illegal, but it sure does sound a lot like stuff that has already been made illegal. And you say, what are you going to do? Put them all in prison? I don't know. Charge them with whatever that judge got charged with. 800-288-9227. Great call, though, Jason and McKinney. I'll work on that other half of the time out of 100 that we disagree. Yeah, so we have the two big local stories here. Is the final guy was caught in the ICE shooting that happened at the Alvarado detention facility on July 4th. He was caught far north Dallas. Manhunt took a while there, almost 2 weeks. On top of that, we have the new specter of the Ice Block app actually interrupting ICE raids and thwarting them here in Dallas. And is that just regular old free speech, or is this people intentionally interfering with law enforcement activities, which got the judge in trouble up in Illinois because she used her, air quote, free speech to help an illegal immigrant evade ICE capture? And she's been charged. I'm not sure I see the difference there. And this is one of the ones where I'm so cocksure on so many of these other issues. I'm not 100% on this one, but it sure sounds like it's illegal. It's interfering with law enforcement. Let's ask my next guest, the great Jim Varney from Real Clear Politics on The James Show. What do you think about that, Jim Varney? Do you think it's just part of free speech for there to be an Ice Block app whose specific intent it is to alert people and help criminals escape capture?
I don't know what the First Amendment answer is to that, James. I think that at first blush, I feel like, can it be both? Like, could it be free speech, but you also are clearly interfering with law enforcement operations? So maybe if they track you down... Well,
interfering with law enforcement operations is illegal. There's a charge for that. The judge in Illinois caught those charges.
Right. Okay. Well, I thought you were talking about that judge in Milwaukee that helped that guy.
It was Milwaukee. Thank you. Hey, I was close. It was next door. It's like 30 miles away. But yeah. That's whatever charges those were. It feels like the Ice Block app kind of runs up against that.
It does. I mean, I've also heard that there were a lot of people that were trying to flood the Ice Block app and claim that there was all these illegal immigrants in Spot X, whether it was true or not. I don't know what's happened with that. I'm sure that you could get somebody to say, look, I created this, but I'm not encouraging or asking anybody to do anything and that person maybe would be in the clear, whereas you or I, if we deliberately went out and said, oh, this guy's in Dallas, or the ICE guys are in Dallas, or they're in New Orleans, then that person doing that might be one step removed from the First Amendment protections that apply to the guy who created it. I don't know the answer. I'm not a lawyer.
Right. I'm kind of in the same position. I feel like I would have a much stronger opinion had I, been to law school or tried one court case in my entire life. But the other thing that we're kind of scratching our heads about around here is they finally caught the last guy that was involved in the 12-person Antifa terror cell that attacked the ICE agents in Alvarado. We had another one in McAllen. And then I turned on the news last night, and Ana Navarro on CNN is saying the Latinos have to live in a reign of terror because ICE agents are coming for them. No, it sounds like the ICE agents are the ones that are being attacked and have to live under a cloud of terror. So, Jim Varney, who do you think is more dangerous, ICE agents or ICE protesters?
Well, so far, I think it's definitely been the protesters, right? I mean, I saw that clip you're talking about with Navarro. I don't know what she's talking about. And it seems to me that if Antifa guys are up to this stuff, look, Antifa's been up to no good for a long time now and has gotten a pass for it. And I think that it's possible that both Ms. Navarro and CNN listeners don't know that much about the attack that occurred in Texas that you guys and your listeners are concerned with, because I don't know that it got a lot of attention on CNN. I don't watch CNN, so I'm not 100% sure. But I think that if you went to the media research group or something, they would probably tell you that wasn't a story that got a lot of airtime.
No doubt.
They may not know.
Well, we also have reporting from some of the outlets in locally speaking that aren't just completely ate up with Trump derangement syndrome, that this guy was part of the John Brown Gun Club, which is an Antifa militant group where they do training with firearms and, clearly have crossed the line from, we're just training with our firearms. No, you actually tried to pull off the murder of some law enforcement officials. At what point do these guys get declared a terror group?
I don't know, James. And I think it's really ironic that you see them complaining so much that ICE agents supposedly are masking, right? And that law enforcement people, they got to be open-faced and we got to know all this stuff. Nobody says anything about these Antifa guys dressed like they're, arch criminal burglars, black from head to toe with their face masks, or the guys that were wearing the, however you pronounce it, keffiyeh, the Palestinian scarves on the campuses of colleges. Those guys are all masking, and it makes me think that maybe they're up to no good, or at least they're doing something illegal. Else, why not show your face if you feel so strongly about this?
All right, I got to take a quick break.
Put your name to it.
We'll continue with Jim Varney from Real Clear Politics next, and I'm going to ask him if he thinks we will ever see the real Epstein files. Coming up next on The James Show. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP.
The James Show Podcast.